This is the video you're looking for. You will subscribe, you will tell all your friends, and you will like this video and watch the full video.
Hey gamers, it's been over a month now since Star Wars Outlaws came out on consoles and PC. And it's launched to a very mixed reception. Some people love it, some people hate it. I am currently in the middle. I love and I hate this game. There's moments where this game is absolutely amazing. It astounds me how well it's been done. And then 2 minutes later, I'm like, I absolutely hate this game. What the fuck is going on? Why have you done this? You could have done this so much better. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, I do love this game, but also like when you're a child and you did something bad, you don't hate them, but you're kind of disappointed with them. You were the chosen one. You're meant to change the game, not make it worse. I still love it. So today I'm diving into why I both love and hate the latest additions to the Star Wars gaming universe. So grab your blaster, hop into your starship, and let's talk about what's going on in this new open world experience. Spoiler warning, of course, but if you want to go in fresh, please watch yourself for this video. There is not any sort of game breaking spoilers, but there is a few scenes where you might not want to see, okay? However, before we dive into the game, here's some interesting facts about the development of Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws was developed by Massive Entertainment. They were primarily known for The Division, which is one of my favourite games of all time. When I found out that Massive Entertainment were doing the development for Star Wars Outlaws, I was really excited. Just due to when I played the Division, the thing that stood out for me the most is the environment. The amount of detail, the interactivity in the environment, just it looks amazing. Especially the first Division. New York looks absolutely amazing at Christmas time. It's just so atmospheric. This is also one of the first non-EA Star Wars games in a decade. It's the first Star Wars title not developed by EA since Disney's exclusivity deal ended in 2021. When developing the game, they were trying to create a seamless open-world gameplay experience. The game features open-world exploration across multiple planets, blending space and ground combat. The aim is to create a seamless experience, making players feel like they truly are in the Star Wars galaxy. The game had an absolutely insane development team. The game involved around 600 developers collaborating across various Ubisoft studios worldwide, including teams in Paris, Milan and Montreal. Nix's design combined features of the developers' pets with those of wild animals, such as armadillos and other various animals. To capture Nix's movement, a puppet was used while the character's 3D model used shaders that mimicked latex. Anyway, on to the game. Let's start with the good. Because there is a lot to love about Star Wars Outlaws. It's the first ever open world Star Wars game, which is something fans have been waiting for a record amount of time. Star Wars fans have been clamouring for an open world game as long as I can remember. However, with Lucasfilm being bought by Disney back in over 10 years ago or so, they kind of signed an exclusive deal with EA as well to make Star Wars games, and that didn't work out the best, did it? It's actually kind of crazy when you actually sit down and think about that Star Wars has never had a single player open world game. That's right, we've all dreamed of living out our smuggler, bounty hunter, or rebel hero fantasies, or Imperial if you're entwined that way. Flying from one planet to another planet, doing as we please in the Star Wars galaxies. And here we are in 2024 and Ubisoft are trying to deliver on that promise. First off, the scope of the game is pretty huge. Planets, space travel, and a sprawling underworld narrative. In this game, you're not playing as a Jedi, but instead a rogue, an outlaw, Cave S. Cave S has been getting some mixed reviews online. Despite this, I actually quite like Kay. She's definitely one of these characters that grows on you over time. She's not an Imperial, she's not a rebel, she's basically just trying to make her way through the galaxy and survive and make the best life she can in a galaxy that's filled with danger and peril at all times. And honestly, it's quite a big win for me. We've had so many stories about Jedi and Sith, and sure, they're amazing. It just gives us a whole new perspective on a simple person just trying to make their way in the universe. And we don't really get to see this outside the sort of TV shows that are coming out on Disney Plus at the moment. So it's nice to play a game that's not where you're playing a Jedi or a Sith. Cave S is a character you can really get behind. She's not just some typical chosen one or a Jedi in training. She's a survivor, a hustler, just trying to carve out a place in the galaxy for herself. You can really sense her grit, it makes the stakes feel real. You don't have lightsabers or force powers to rely upon, she just has her blaster and Nix. Which really makes a sort of fresh take on the sort of Star Wars game, as we're obviously very used to Jedi powers, which is a nice fresh perspective on the universe. Kay relies on her street smarts, her relationships, and weighing up the risk. Whenever I played games like Star Wars Old Republic Online, I always played a scoundrel character, is I always liked playing a different character that was different from just being a regular old Jedi. Now, let's talk about the galaxy itself. When I say open world, I mean it. You've got the ability to travel from planet to planet, take on jobs for the Hutts, engage with pirates, or play both sides of the Empire-Rebel conflict. This is the freedom I've always wanted in an open world Star Wars game. You can land on planets, interact with the locals, customize your ship, pick up some missions. It really does feel like you're living in a Star Wars galaxy. It gives you seamless, and I use seamless in quotation marks. They basically use this to disguise the loading screen from going from planet to space, which is a really good way of keeping the player immersed, and a lot better than most games these days, especially one in particular. I'm looking at you, Starfield. I'm looking at you. In my opinion, the planets are really well designed. Whether you're in the bustling city, a shady underworld bar, or the desolate wastes of Tatooine, you feel completely immersed in these environments. The attention to detail is impressive. From droids selling scrap to stormtroopers, patrolling the streets, everything feels just right. Walking around Tatooine, it does feel really surreal at some points, just because you've watched the films, you've seen it, and it really I can't describe it. It just makes you feel like you really are there. Ubisoft have done a great job at this. Massive Entertainment have done a fantastic job at just making you feel immersed in the universe. Visiting the cantina, also visiting Jabba's palace, plus many other iconic places from the Star Wars universe. I honestly cannot express how amazing it does feel sometimes. They really do nail this part of the game. And then there's the space travel. I mean, who hasn't dreamed of hopping into a starship and engaging in epic dogfights in the middle of space? No one. The flying feels good, the combat feels good in space. Again, I'm looking at a game similar to this, Starfield. Like, what the hell? Your combat is terrible compared to this. This game did such a better job in every single aspect, in my opinion. Remember, in my opinion. One thing I really can't fault this game on is the audio. It's absolutely incredible. From the music to just walking around the cities, it is so atmospheric. It is just absolutely incredible. They've really nailed the Star Wars sound. I honestly can't put into words how good this is. One of my biggest recommendations when getting this game is make sure you've got a nice pair of headphones, pop them on, and just enjoy. Trust me, you'll thank me later. So well done, Massive. You absolutely nailed the audio aspect of this game. Props. Next up, I'm going to touch on the visuals of this game. This game does look amazing sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't look great. But when it does look great, I mean it really does pop. The environments are just absolutely next level. Obviously it's the same people that made The Division, so they do environments very, very well. To be honest, if you go back and play The Division 2 just now, it holds up really, really well. Even The Division 1 still holds up absolutely amazing. The environments in that game are second to none. However, sometimes when you look at an NPC's face too close, it kind of looks a bit like dog shit in the nicest possible way. Anyway, I've accidentally started talking about all the bad stuff that I don't like in this game, so let's move on to the bad stuff then, shall we? And remember, a little disclaimer, this is my opinion. I do like this game. This is just the stuff I do not like, unfortunately, with the game. As much as I love Star Wars Outlaws, there's some serious problems I just can't ignore. It's a good game, but it falls short in a few key areas that would make the game great, and this is what really frustrates me as a fan. First off, combat. Now, the blaster combat is fun for a little bit, but it pretty quickly starts to feel repetitive. I don't know why, but I really hate the sound of Kay's blaster. Don't ask me why, I just hate it. The blaster itself, I just really don't like it. I don't know why, it isn't for me. One thing I also don't like about the combat is the fact that you can't carry a secondary weapon. You're kind of stuck with Kay's blaster. You can pick up weapons from dead enemies, but you can only use them for about 20 seconds before they're just out of ammo. Also, what about that hand-to-hand combat? It's pretty shit as well, just pressing one single button. I wish they just took a bit of Naughty Dog's playbook and did something like The Last of Us, where you sort of interact with the environment when you're doing combat, or Uncharted series as well. That would have been a good point to take off. Next, onto the sort of stealth aspects of the game. I do enjoy a good stealth game, and there are aspects of this game I do enjoy stealth, like sneaking into an Imperial base is really good sometimes. It is quite thrilling. However, what the actual fuck is going on with these stealth takedowns? Walking up behind the enemies that have full body armor on and just bonking them on top of the head, or punching in the ribs where they've got armor, it just does not make any sense, and it really does take me out of the immersive experience this game is trying to do. I just can't let it go. Some of these stealth takedowns are just absolutely god awful. It's beyond a joke how they made it into the game, to be honest. And also, a lot of the time you'll be doing a lot of combat on speeders, getting chased by different enemies. However, the way the combat works on speeders is you just basically have to drive, getting shot while you sit there until your little meter builds up, and then you activate the meter, and then you shoot them all without actually doing anything. Not very fun. In my opinion, this probably could have been easily avoided. It would make a simple combat system for speeders. This game doesn't have the best AI. This is sort of really highlighted during the stealth sections where the enemy can sometimes see you, but they don't actually do anything about it. Or if you take someone down right beside an enemy and they can't hear you, it is just not good sometimes. For example, I was playing this the other day and I was doing a stealth section and I was basically telling Nix to go over and distract the guard. However, when I did that, Kay basically screamed, "Nix, go over and distract the guard," and no one heard me. It's really kind of takes you out the moment. And as I mentioned earlier, the visuals can be amazing, but also they can be a bit hit or miss. Especially with those faces. God damn, those faces will haunt me until I die. Like, I'm not looking for next level faces on NPCs, but just not something out of a horror movie or a wax melt sort of looking guy. One big aspect of the game is content. Content. Oh my fucking god. There is so much content in this game. Obviously, being a Ubisoft game, this game has to be filled to the absolute high heavens of content. Good content, bad content, content that doesn't really make a difference, content that just makes you climb up 10 million steps just to find a little treasure. Just content. Someone should really sit down, Ubisoft, and say, sometimes too much is just too much. Stop it. Stop it right now. In my opinion, the game would greatly benefit from sort of just scaling back the amount of stuff to do in the game and putting more time into make content that players want to sit down and complete. I would rather have 5 missions than 50 missions if that meant the 5 missions that we were doing were well done, well crafted and well written, than having 50 million missions that are absolutely boring, nothing to do. It's the same fetch quest over and over again that you experience with every single Ubisoft game. For example, I got a mission from a broker where I had to steal a data card from an officer. However, when I got to the compound, it was tiny, the officer was just walking about casually. What I did is I got Nix to run up to the officer, steal it, run back to me, and that was it. Jumped on a speeder, drove away. Mission over. Absolutely shite. And that's it for all the bad stuff about Star Wars Outlaws. Despite me hating these aspects of the game, I did really enjoy this, because deep down you can see there's a good game under this, even a great game. It's just it needed more time in the oven, it seems like. It does make me really disappointed because you can see there is a great game underneath it all. However, they've obviously not been given enough time potentially, or it needed more time to develop the game further. It just makes me sad when I think about what could have been, because this game could have been absolutely amazing. It could have been great. It could have been a new game that just sets itself apart from the rest. However, unfortunately, it does seem like it's going to be forgotten about pretty quickly. This makes me really sad because I think if this massive entertainment studio made a sequel, it would be amazing. However, looking at the sales figures, it doesn't look that positive. However, the game is not out on Steam as of yet, so hopefully when the game comes out on Steam, that'll give the sales a bit of a boost. I really do hope this game has a future and we can see more in this franchise. I know, I've not mentioned factions. However, I really don't think the factions play that much of a big part in the game. You do missions for them, you get respect, you level up, you get some gear. I really don't rate it that much, to be honest, and it could have been done better, I feel. This is something they could probably maybe fix in the future game, if that happens. I also have to give a shout out to whoever made the mini game that involves you eating food with Nix. It is absolutely batshit insane. It's basically a quick time event where you press buttons to eat the food, and oh my god, it lasts literally about 5 minutes. This thing should last literally 15 seconds and that's it, but oh my god, it continues and it continues and it continues. Dear Lord, please help me. So, I've probably pissed off a lot of people with this video, but at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and this is mine, and I'm just sort of making a video about it. So let's get to it. Would I recommend Star Wars Outlaws? Yes, absolutely. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to love this game. However, you're probably going to have a little voice in the back of your head being like, this could have been better. It could have been way better. However, it's the first shot at a Star Wars open world game, and in my opinion, it was pretty good. You're going to love the immersive experience, the freedom to explore, the chance to play a non-Jedi character. It brings a fresh perspective to the Star Wars galaxy that we haven't seen enough in recent games. However, if you're looking for a groundbreaking game, you might want to look somewhere else. It's not got any earth-shattering story, it's not got any mechanics that are going to blow you away, it's not revolutionary, it's a standard sort of Ubisoft game, but with a sort of Star Wars skin tacked on top of it. But some people do love Ubisoft games, me included. This game could have been amazing, it could have been great. But it's good, it's a solid game. It's got glimpses of greatness, but unfortunately sort of held back by the Ubisoft formula. So if you're not a Star Wars fan, I would probably wait until this is on sale, or even try and join Ubisoft Plus, which is a service that gets all the sort of Ubisoft games for a cheap price. So that's the end of the video, Star Wars Outlaws. I love it, I hate it, I wish it could have been better. Until next time. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, or leave a comment if you want to chat about the game or just have a general query. Goodbye.